Hi guys, James's Car Craze here. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm with the Volkswagen Golf GTI, arguably probably the daddy of hot hatchbacks, as many vehicle enthusiasts will call it. I'm going to go through the usual stuff with you today, guys. Going to go through the exterior tour first, and then we'll dive straight in and we'll go to the infotainment systems and the digital dash, and also all the little driver assistance systems that are hidden in there as well. Massive thank you to Volkswagen UK for the loan of this vehicle this week. I've had a lot of fun with it already. I'm going to pass that over to you now. So without further ado, we're going to start off with the exterior tour. Starting off with the usual zooming into the headlights. Being at the GTI, you get the top of the range IQ matrix system. Basically, for those who do not know what matrix headlights are, it uses a camera system which is up here where the mirror is in the car. That uses data collected from the vehicles coming the other way. It knows where the vehicles are, where the headlights are. If you've got your full beams on, the car will adapt its high beams around oncoming traffic rather than shutting them off. So it means that you can keep your full beams on all the time with cars coming the other way, but you do not blind those drivers coming the other way. It's a really good system. If you do a lot of nighttime driving, get these lights. If you haven't got a GTI but you've still got the Mark 8 Golf, which has which you can spec the IQ lights on, that is an option definitely worth having. And if you get the IQ lights, you also get the along with the classic GTI red strip, you do also get the LED bar which goes along here and into the headlights there. I quite like actually the fact that Volkswagen have kept that red line that featured quite early on in the Golf GTIs. Matches the badging on there, so you've got GTI badging, obviously reminds you that you are driving a Volkswagen Golf GTI. Being a GTI, same with the GTE and GTD, you get the honeycomb grille down here. The honeycomb grille up down there also includes your LED fog lights. Moving around, your LED fog lights obviously on there as well. Moving around, got your wheels on here. You get 19, you can get 20 inch as well. I believe these are the 20, are they 20s on it? Yeah, they're the 20s on there, but you can get the 19s as well, different wheel configurations. So you get the red calipers on the GTI, and then on the side more GTI badging. Mirrors, got the LED turn signals. They are dynamic, so you do get the sweeping indicators, which I really love. Just going to step back a bit just so you can sort of see that profile. Shape, overall shape hasn't really changed that much. Obviously every mark of Golf that comes out, they do change it, and yeah, personally this is the best looking Golf, but that's what you get with evolution. Going around to the rear of the vehicle, get a nice spoiler on the back. If you get the Club Sport, the GTI Club Sport, you get a bigger rear spoiler, so it looks a little bit more aggressive, but on the GTI it's a sort of scaled down spoiler, but that's not to worry, it still looks very, very good. GTI badging is now underneath the Volkswagen badge on the Mark 8s and above. Usually it would be at the side there, but it's right in the middle. If you've got a GTE or GTD, that will obviously say GTE or GTD. And then you've still got your twin tailpipes down there. It's quite a subtle sounding car. It's not like the Focus ST that I had not too long ago. It does pump, we'll get more on it in a minute, through the speaker system. It does pump an artificial noise into the cabin, which makes it sound like your exhausts are louder than they are, which, if you've got neighbours that moan about noise all the time, actually that probably isn't a bad thing, because you're still listening to a nice noise, but you're not actually deafening your neighbours. Around the other side, fuel filler cap. This is a petrol car, 2 litre petrol, so petrol goes in on the driver's side. Just going to step back again so you can see the profile on the sunnier side of the car, and then going back round to the front. Lovely guys, that's the exterior tour, so we'll now go straight into the interior and we'll continue proceedings there. So guys, we're in the interior of the car now. We're going to start off with the digital driver's display and steering wheel. There's a lot of customization in this display. I'm going to go through as much of it as possible, but it will take a fair amount of time in the video. So I'll try and I'll try and condense it a little bit so we're not here forever. The screen in front of me now is not necessarily the screen that greets you at default. I have customized it to my liking, but we'll go through all of that now. At the moment, it's in its traditional dial mode. There are different screens that we can cycle through as well, but more on that in just a sec. On the left, you have your rev counter, and on the right, you've got your speed, and you've also got a digital readout of your speed just at the bottom there. Just going through what's on the screen now. So the little P that you can see on the bottom left with the little brackets, that means it's in park and the parking brake is applied. Bottom where it says 320, that is your miles of range left in the fuel tank. Little symbol next to it, that is the status of the drive mode. At the moment it's in individual custom mode. More on that when we get to the infotainment screen. Moving on to the right where it says 30 miles an hour, that was the state of the adaptive cruise control. And then on the very top right, you can sort of see it there, the little red seatbelt man sign. That just means that there's someone in the driver's seat but not wearing their seatbelt, that being me at the moment. To go through the different screens, we use the little pad there on the right of the steering wheel. I'm going to go through the different options in the middle screen first, and then we'll go through what you can have on either side of the dial. So to change the middle screen, we quite simply just use a little down or up arrow on the steering wheel. So I'm going to click down. You can have a complete blank canvas, so if you want a minimalist approach with just dials, that is your screen there. Press the down button again, you can have your time and your date. You can have it as your road sign recognition, so it uses the same camera and GPS navigation algorithms to basically display what the speed limit is doing outside. So if there was a speed limit change and it sees a sign, it will tell you what that speed limit is inside the car. Miles per hour, so if you want your analog speed right in the middle rather than down there, then you can have it there. Driving data, so this is the long-term driving data since you've had the car. It's a 2024 plate car, done 3,249 miles at the time of recording, and in that time it's averaged 35.6 miles per gallon. Being a GTI, I can't imagine that it was driven economically, so I'm sure there's more miles per gallon to be gained in there. Scroll down again, and then we go back to the screen I had it on at the start, which is the navigation screen. I like having the navigation right in front of the driver rather than have it sort of there, because it means you can still look ahead and just move your eyes up and down like that rather than having to do that. It's only a tiny thing, and some of you might disagree, but for me, I just think it's a little bit better. Also, having the map in the middle, if you're not actually using the sat nav but you're in an unfamiliar area, having a advanced view of the road ahead, I think is actually a good idea, and it's something that I benefit from a lot. So if there's traffic which isn't showing up, or if you need to take a detour, you can have a little view of the road ahead. That's all the screens in the middle. We're now going to go to what you can have either side of the dial, starting with the left dial. And to do that, we press the left screen button on there, and it's going to come up with a load of options. At the moment, I've got it in Assistant Systems. The little screen, let's just press OK. At the moment, I've got it in, as I said, Assistant Systems, so that will display the status of your adaptive cruise control and also how close you want to be to the vehicle in front, or how far away. I like having it on that screen because I do use the adaptive cruise control quite a lot. Scrolling down, operating temperatures, so you can have all your gearbox oil temperatures, your coolant temperatures, obviously your main oil, engine oil levels as well. Navigation, so the route guidance would be displayed in that left circle there. It's not a copy of the map in the middle, it's purely arrows. So for example, if it wants you to turn left, it'll be a left arrow and how many yards it is to that. If it's right, vice versa, or if it's a roundabout, it will display a roundabout and it will give me an indication as to what exit I will need to take on there. Power, so this is quite, obviously being a GTI, you know, sometimes you want to know how much power you're producing while accelerating. At the moment, I can only, it only displays kilowatts. I've been in the unit setting, I can't seem to change that to horsepower or brake horsepower. So it does only display it in kilowatts. So I have no idea what kilowatts to horsepower conversion is. That's something I might have to Google later on. Charge pressure, so here we go, so that's the turbo pressure. Obviously at the moment it's 0 because we're not moving, but as you accelerate more and more, that pressure will go up. Settings, so that's that settings page there. If I click that, that just allows me to select all the different options that I can have on those dials. Just going down. There you go. So you see that there's some that are ticked, some that are not ticked. The ones that are not ticked are actually on the other side of the dial, but we'll get that in just a moment. So let's go back. So we go to the top and back. There we go. Scrolling down again. No displays. If you don't want anything in that dial at all, it will just be a plain dial. Consumption. So as you're driving along, that will give you your real-time fuel consumption. Again, that will depend on all sorts of different factors, whether you've got your air conditioning on, what your driving style's like, temperature outside, etc, etc. Average, sorry, the buttons are very sensitive in this car. Average consumption, as you can see, that is the long-term consumption since the car was new. The gear selector display, so this is the automatic car. You've still got the paddles on the steering wheel to change gear, but this will tell you what position your gear selector is in. At the moment we're in park, but you've got D for drive, R for reverse, you've got S for sporty gearbox as well. Fuel gauge, so you've got a fuel gauge down there, that's always there, but if you want one in the middle as well, you can have one there. Assistance systems, and then we're back to where we started. That's how I want mine in there. The right hand side dial, that's pretty much the same principles. So this time we use the right button there. You can have it on navigation, which was the same as the other side. This side you could have either audio, so if you've got a radio station playing, if you're connected to your phone, you'll have that information displayed there. So if it's a radio, it'll be the radio station and what song you're listening to. If it's like Bluetooth or Apple CarPlay, it will show you the little album file on there. Oops, wait, wrong one. There we go. Telephone, so when your phone's connected, you can go through different phone options there. Sorry, I keep pressing the wrong one. Speed, so if you want a larger speed, you can have it in there like the other side. Time is self-explanatory. Acceleration again. There we go. So the little eco there. So if you want to do some economical driving, this gauge will tell you how if you're accelerating too harshly, which is quite good. And then power and charge, we've already been through that. On this side, you get your G meter as well, so how many Gs you're pulling in the corners. At the moment, it says I'm doing 0.1 G because I am on a slight tilt. Compass, so for those that want a compass, at the moment we're pointing, east-ish. And then destination info, so that will be how close you are to your destination. I'm going to have it back on whatever I had it on. I think it was consumption I had mine on. Yeah, cool. So there the options on those two screens, on those two dials rather, in the middle screen there. You can then have a completely different configuration as well, and to do that we just use the up and down arrows on here. So at the moment that is your your more classic display. That's the display that you'd get on sort of any mark of Golf, whether it be the entry level, R line, GTI, Club Sport R, and then you can go if I press down 1, you can have a complete minimalist approach. We've already done this. Right, there we go. So yeah, to change the screen, you go to that little view button there. So we press view. Let's just put that back to normal. So view. There we go. So you can have square, where the dials were, you can have squares if you want squares. I don't really like that. I like the round ones, but there's squares. This page here is a larger version of what I've got on the left there. So this is your assistance systems page. So your lane keeping assist, collision assist, that when the car is in motion, that will display all the information in there. It will tell you the status of your adaptive cruise control settings as well. That's just another, basically your square dials, but with your speed in the middle. Now this one is the one that you get in the GTIs, GTDs and GTEs. This is the GTI sports selection here. As you can see, it says GTI in the middle. You've got your speed in the middle there. You've got the big rev counter, and then left and right you've got the dials that I set it to as well. So I've still got my cruise control on the left and I've got my consumption on the right. In the middle there you do have some extra customization. So at the moment it's on speed. If I click the little down arrow, I can have a lap timer. So there's that there. Or I can have the gear selector. That will actually tell me what gear I'm in. So first, second, first, fourth. It's got 7-speed DSG gearbox in this thing. And then I can just go back to the main page there. That's everything to do with the screens. Going to go back now onto the steering wheel. Just to go zoom up a bit. It's a nice steering wheel. Again, nicely sort of molded to the hands. It's not too thick, it's not too thin. Really nice feeling. Obviously GTI, you've got the GTI badging there with the red, which is mimicked on the front little red bar on the front grille. On the left are all your options for your cruise control, your cruise control distance, and also the drive assist, which we'll get on in just a moment. And at the bottom here you've got your volume up and down for your audio. And then on the right we've already been through the options for the screen, but you've also got skip track or skip radio station, heated steering wheel, and then you've also got your what is your speech assistance, although in this particular car I haven't actually got that to work yet. And then obviously as normal, horn is in the middle. Going around the back, as I said, you've got the paddles to change gear, so you've got minus down there and plus there. On the left are your indicator stalk and your flashings. I don't know if you can see that. There we go. Then on the right is your windscreen washer and your windscreen wipers. It's got automatic wipers. At the moment it's in the automatic mode, so when it rains and senses rain on the windscreen, the wipers will activate. That's everything on there. Going to move on now to the central screen here. So guys, this is the screen that will greet you when you get into the vehicle. It's your home screen. It's configured to how the previous person who demoed this car has set it out. So on the left tile there you've got a compass, and you've got your media or radio status, vehicle settings and your call settings. And then on the next page you've got different options as well. You can customize all this. I believe you do. You do hold it down and then something's meant to do something, but it's obviously not doing it today, so no worries. Gonna go to the app screen first, so the little square bottom. So app screen on the left, we've got the telephone. So when your phone is connected, you'll have all your contacts on there, your keypad to dial for your sort of hands-free motoring. Radio and media. So at the moment it was on my media setting because I have my phone connected to my Bluetooth, so all your songs will appear on there. Or if you're on the radio on
the west of England,
then let's turn that
wits about us.
let's just turn that down. There you go. And obviously, it's a DAB radio, so you can tune in to pretty much any radio station in the UK, for example, here, or whatever country you're in. It will tune into the different radio stations. So I'm going to have it back onto my media. Going back, navigation. So at the moment, because I've got the map displayed there, it's not displaying here, but I don't know, these are different quick options that the car has been to in previous. So for example, if I just do Ipswich, it will now put my map on there. There we go. And then I should be able to then display that in there when I press start. So let's just go back, because I don't need to go to Ipswich today. Vehicle settings. So let's just go back up to the top there. So vehicle, so you get a nice display of a GTI in the middle. It's not the colour to what your car is, it's just a sort of a silvery GTI, but that's fine. So comfort light. Comfort light is, let's just go on to it. So there's a few different options on here. So for example, you've got the front little LED bar. When you unlock and unlock the car, there's different animations that you can have on there. So if you just want like a standard turn on, turn off, if you want a little bit of an animation, you can have that on there. Exit lighting duration. So when you exit the car, the lights will stay on for X amount of time, so you can actually see where you're going on your driveway. Entry lights, so when you're near to the car, the lights will turn on, so you can actually see to get into the car. And then switched on when approached, so that will only work when that's on. When you've got your key in your pocket, when it's approached, lights will come on. Mirrors, so synchronous adjustment, so when that is on, if I adjusted the left mirror, it would use algorithms to then sort of adjust the right mirror, so they're equal, they're set equally. Lower in reverse gear, so when you put it into reverse, that mirror will go down, so you can actually see the wheels. Fold in when locking, so when you lock the car, so you press that, and then the mirrors will fold in. Tires. So at the moment, these are all your tyre settings. When the vehicle is in motion, you'll get all your PSIs appearing on there. Headlights. So dynamic light assist, that's Volkswagen's way of pretty much saying the matrix technology, which I talked about. So it will blank out the high beam. It can even adjust the dip beam as well for certain conditions. Dynamic cornering light, so at lower speeds, if you're going to go around a corner, the lights will illuminate the corner, so you can actually see going around the corner. Switch on time, so how quickly you want those lights to come on. Automatic headlight control in the rain, so when it does rain, obviously if you've got your lights on, you do get a reflection on the road. That setting again uses different algorithms and technology to adjust the low beam and high beam in a way that it's putting light further down the road rather than putting it right in front of you and, well, having it blind behind your face. And then travel modes, so if you're driving in the UK, we drive on the left hand side of the road. If you're driving in America or some other countries where you drive on the right side of the road, that's just a setting there. So it's to do with the headlight leveling. So the one on the left will be slightly higher than the one on the right, because obviously cars come towards you on the right hand side of the road in the UK, so you don't want the right hand side headlight to be pointing up like that, dazzling drivers. It's going to be pointed down a little bit more, whereas the one on the left will be pointed up a bit more, so you can see sort of the side of the road, which is a good setting. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so brakes don't actually do anything with the brakes. It's to do with the electronic stability control. At the moment it's active, although you can have it in sport mode or off. I'm having it in activated. Sport it's got an electronic differential, very, very clever. Sport mode, it just gives you that little bit of slip, give it a little bit more fun in the corners, and obviously off completely is, well, you're on your own. Going around again, so windows, convenience opening. So here you can, when you use a little button on the key fob, You can hold the open unlock button, all the windows will go down. Hold it locked, all the windows will go up. Central locking, so keyless access, obviously it's a keyless entry and exit system. Unlock your vehicle when approaching. I've actually turned that off for the moment, only because when I was doing my exterior tour, if I got further away or towards the car, I kept locking and unlocking. I could probably turn that on now though. I'm going to keep it off for the moment actually, because I've got some more filming to do. Door unlocking, so when you press the unlock button, it unlocks all doors, but if you want, you can only unlock a single door for whatever reason. Interior monitoring, so when you lock the car, they've got sensors inside the car that will detect any movement. So if you've left a child in the car for whatever reason, or a dog or something, that will alert you that there is actually someone still inside of the vehicle. Service position, so that actually changes the wipers to the service position. So if you're going to change the wipers, it just means it's a little bit closer to your working position. If I press that, if I turn it off, wipers go down. Wiper settings, so as I said, this has got automatic wipers, so at the moment automatic wiping is on. Rear window wipings, when you put it into reverse gear, the wiper on the rear will just do a quick sweep, so if it's raining it'll make sure you can actually see at the back. Wipers in service position, that is just what I showed you there when the wipers go up like that. That's that. The interior settings, so here we go, so cockpit. Here we've got some different options, so eco tips. So when you're driving, bottom here, if it thinks you can drive a bit more economically, so for example, if you're going down a hill, but you've still got your foot on the accelerator, it will say foot off accelerator, you can roll down the hill, not use fuel. If there's a roundabout coming up ahead, it says roundabout ahead, it tells you to bring your foot off the accelerator to approach the roundabout. Just little tips like that, only small things, but a lot of small things can then make a big difference. And then here you can reset your trip computers, but I'm not going to do that. Interior lighting, so your instrument and switch lighting, so this is all the lighting on here. You've got the lighting here and everywhere around the vehicle. That's how bright I want it quite dark. And then your screen mode, basically. At the moment I've got it on dark mode because I think dark mode makes it a little bit more sporty. You can have it on bright mode as well, which is quite vibrant, which is good if it's really sunny outside. Makes it a bit clearer, but my personal favourite is dark mode. Status, so here you've got the status of the vehicles. At the moment, service, I'm all good for servicing. It tells you when I need to have an oil change in 550 days, and then I need an inspection in 640 days. Tyre pressures, there we go. So when you press set, you can set all your tyre pressures. I'm not going to go into that because I don't want to ruin what isn't my vehicle. And then your start-stop status. So at the moment, if it's orange, it's deactivated. If it's black, it's activated. So when you come to a stop, like if you're in traffic or if you're at traffic lights, the engine will stop just to save a little bit more fuel. And obviously, when you put your foot on the accelerator and drive off, the engine will come back on. Data. So since the start of my journey today, I've done a bit of city driving today. So I've only done about 31.8 miles to the gallon. Again, you know, it's a GTI. You don't buy this car to be economical. If you want it to be economical, get the GTD or GTE, or don't even get one of the GTs at all. Get one of the sort of the slightly lower down hybrid alternatives. Long term, we've been through that. That's the long term miles to gallon. And then since refueling, so this was refueled not that long ago. I've done about 35.8 miles per gallon since refueling. That's the vehicle screen. App connect. So at the moment I'm not connected, but you can download the Volkswagen app. When you download the app, you can then control parts of the car. So you can preset the air conditioning or the heating. You can check your tyre pressures. You can check your status. You can check where your vehicle is. You can remotely lock or unlock your vehicle, and so on and so on. Users, so like maybe on a laptop when you're at school or computer when you were at school, you had different logins. Similar system to this, so you can have different logins for different drivers, and then those logins you can set all of your personal features, and then that will save to your login. So for example, if my partner was to drive this car, she'd have a login. She can change all of that to pink, I don't know, for example. She can set different settings, so the settings will be adjusted depending as to what login you're on. Sound. So here we go. So this particular car has not got the upgraded sound system, although there is an upgraded system you can get. But even in the standard system, I think it's actually pretty good. So here are just what you'd get in any normal, you've got your equalizer settings, so bass, your mid and your treble. It's a nice bassy system, I really like it. Background, so here is to do with all your ambient lighting. There's a lot of choices. You can either have one solid colour. I quite like the orange and blues, so I've got orange. You can have very top half of the car orange, bottom half of the car
call failed. Please try again later.
Sorry, I was trying to turn one of the lights off there and I accidentally pressed the little service button, but I'll get to that in a moment. You can have orange top, blue middle, orange bottom, or you can have orange top and blue bottom. There's there's loads of configuration there. Brightness, so this little diagram here actually shows you where all the ambient lighting positions are. So you've got the top sort of dashboard, bottom footwell, door, and then sort of your middle where the door handles are there. Or if you want a different mood, there's all these different moods and preset colours here as well. Automatic will adjust the ambient lighting as to maybe how fast you're going, what the temperature is inside the vehicle. Cool, so if a call comes, I think it will change the colour. If the hazard lights are on, it pulses different colours. It's pretty good, but I like my blue and orange colour scheme on there. Going down, help. So if there's not something you're quite sure on your car, just go on to help, and it's like just a user's manual on your car. Settings. So these are the actual system settings. So screen. So brightness, I've got it on high brightness today. Touch tone, that's off, but if that was on, it'll give you an audible sort of when you touch, little bong. Tone for other controls, so for example, when I select the gear, it will give me a bong. If I press park, it will give me a bong. Show clock in standby mode, so when the ignition is not on but you're inside the vehicle, this screen will be off but you'll get a clock in the middle. Proximity sensor, how close you are to certain things. Hand gestures, so you can use hand gestures in this car. Although it's enabled, I haven't got them to work fully. That's not necessarily a bad remark to Volkswagen. There's probably different parameters as to why, but just Google or YouTube Volkswagen hand gestures and I'm sure someone's managed to master it. Hand gesture light, hand gesture tone, haven't gone into that actually yet, but that's all to do with the hand gesturing on there. Time and date, quite simple. Setting your time and date. Language, obviously we're in the UK, so we're UK British. If you're in America, you can have UK. You can have English US, because obviously the US, although they speak English, their spellings and there's a bit of variation with spellings and things like that. So at the moment I'm in English UK. Additional keypad languages, so I can have all sorts of languages, but I'm not going to touch any of that. Units, so here you can actually select what units you want. So you've got miles or kilometers, miles an hour or kilometers an hour, etc, etc. Voice control, so these are all your voice control settings. Wake words, so you can say something like hey Volkswagen and it'll come up with the voice control. Wi-Fi, so at the moment it's not connected to a hotspot, but you can connect your phone to the car and then the car will then boost out a hotspot. Alternatively, I think there's a SIM card thing somewhere which you can then have your car as a data hotspot. So if you're going on a long journey and you've got passengers like kids in the back, they can connect their phones to the car's Wi-Fi. Data connection, there we go. So eSIM, so you can download. You haven't actually have to you don't have to have a physical SIM card. You can download what we call an eSIM, and then you'll go onto there, and when it loads, there'll be all sorts of data plans on there as well. But at the moment, it's I'm not enabled it. Mobile devices, that just shows you all the devices that have been paired in its lifetime. Reset to factory settings, not going to do that, but that's self-explanatory. System information gives you all your hardware and things like that. Any updates, it'll show any updates there. Copyright information and configuration wizard. What's all this? Cool, and then you can play around with what apps you want to do what and blah blah blah. So I'm gonna get rid of that. Assistant systems. So this screen displays your assistants. This button here is your alert system. So if the car thinks you're getting drowsy or you're not really paying attention, it will say, we think you need a break, and then it will come up with a sat nav of service stations, which is quite clever. If I press that, front assist, so that will monitor the road ahead. So if there's any cars that are coming to a halt quite quickly, or if it thinks are going to crash or have a head-on collision, the car will intervene. So you can have distance warnings. If I'm too close to the car in front, it will give me bongs on everything on there. Swerve support, so if the car thinks taking evasive action is better than braking, it will swerve away from that hazard. And then oncoming vehicle braking when turning. So if you're turning and you can't quite, for example, if your view is obstructed by the pillar, or if you're coming out of a space, if the car sees a vehicle coming the other way, it will brake. What's this guy here? Lane change system. So these are the little orange lights which appear where that little black panel is. If there's a car in your blind spot, that light will turn orange. Where are we? Done that one. Car in front, so adaptive cruise control. So adaptive cruise control is basically when you turn it on and it does its own thing. It will start you and stop you in traffic, and it will maintain a distance to the car in front as well, which is very good. Road layout preview, so it knows what the road layout's doing ahead, and then speed limit preview as well. Will just tell you what speed you need to do. Dynamic road safety, so that will just give you a warning if you're going over the speed limit, and then you can select what that threshold is, which is pretty good. That's your assistance systems shop. I haven't been on this yet. I don't think it will work because I'm not actually connected to Wi-Fi. But shop, I believe there are some features that you can buy for the car which haven't come as standard. But yeah, I need to do privacy settings and things like that, so I'm not going to do that. That is everything on that particular page. So going to go down now to the climate controls, which you can control using the haptic buttons on here. So haptic means you press them, well, it's like a touchscreen button. You sort of press them and sort of don't, and you get a feedback through there as well. Some people get on with them, some people don't. I'm fine with them. So to go to your climate settings, you go down to this little panel here. The top right is climate, so we're going to press that. This takes you to your climate control screen. At the moment it's off. I'm going to turn that on by quite simply, why isn't that not working? Oh yeah, so turn it on. There we go. So you've got automatic mode, which will keep the car at a certain temperature. It can turn on and off the air conditioning by itself to make sure it maintains a perfect temperature. And then there's different levels of how high or low you want the fan in automatic mode. Here are your temperatures, so it's dual zone, so you've got left and right. I'm having it in sync mode, so all the car is the same temperature. I'm going to have it in 20 degrees today is fine. Fan control speed, as you can probably hear now, that's got pretty high. Going to turn that back there. These are all your options. So you can have air conditioning, so I can turn that on. Max air conditioning, air recirculation, air at your feet, air at your sort of torso. Left and right here are your seats, your heated seats. You've got 3 different levels of heat, so on, off a bit, off completely. And as I said, in the middle there you've got your temperatures. At the top you have, if I go to Smart Climate, this gives you a few options. So for example, if you want to defog your windows, rather than having to fiddle around with settings, just press defog windows. Don't know why that's not actually working properly at the moment, but you can then press different things. So warm my feet, warm hands, cool my feet, fresh air, rapid cooling, air care. So let me just show you this. So the air care system will filter out any pollutants. Yes, at the moment it's sucking all the air. That sounds a bit worrying. It's not sucking out the oxygen in the car. It's filtering out any pollutants which might be in. So any dust is now being sent to the filters, and then when that little blue indication has reached the whole car, it will then vent it outside, which is quite good. So let's just see what that. Let's wait for it to finish. There we go, and then that's all done. That's everything to do with the climate controls. Moving back down here, this is sort of a panel to quick settings. Assist, so that just takes us to the quick screen for your assistant systems. Parking menu, so you do obviously get your rear camera, you also get your distance parking sensor control there. This car you can spec with parking assist, which means it will park itself. This particular car I've got on test today, it's an optional extra that was not chosen, so I can't demonstrate that. But here, obviously, is when you'd get all your bongs for your parking sensors. Look, safe to move. It just makes sure that you don't rely on the camera. You still have to look left and right. And then modes. So down here are your driving modes. You can have it in individual, sport, comfort, or economical. I've got it in individual, but economical. Eco modes, also you put it into eco, that adjusts everything, reduces throttle response, things like that, reduces output a little bit, just changes the car settings to make it as economical as possible. But again, it's a GTI, you don't buy it to be economical, you buy it to be fun. But if you're doing like long motorways, then put it into eco mode and that'll sort itself out. Comfort, so that's just bog standard out the box, so that will adjust the settings and suspension to try and give you the most comfortable ride. Sport mode, obviously that's the full attack mode, so that will give you maximum output. Doesn't necessarily give you more horsepower, you always get the horsepower, it just changes the way in which that's delivered. So it will change the settings in the electronic diff, dampers, things like that, and throttle and steering response. And then individual is where you can customize everything, so I'll press that little button there. I've got quite a lot of things in comfort still. The only reason I've actually got it in individual is because if you go down to engine sound, this system has, like I mentioned in the exterior tour, it's got a system that replicates engine and exhaust noise, only because the exhaust on this thing is pretty quiet. So engine sound, that's an artificial noise which actually sounds quite good for for hot hatch. Pumps it into the cabin, so when you accelerate it makes it sound like your exhaust is going out the back and you've got a really nice throaty engine sound. I've got it in sport mode, which is the loudest. Everything else I've just got in either comfort or economical. Air conditioning, obviously air conditioning does consume fuel. You will notice it in your miles per gallon over different drives. So at the moment I've just got on eco mode, so you can have your air conditioning on, but it's the most economical let's say version of your air conditioning. And then hazards in the middle, and then that is everything there. We'll go down now to down here. In here, if I lift that up, that's your wireless charging display. You've also got your two little USB-C charging ports on there. Down here, a little gap for, I don't know, I can put my sunglasses in there, or my glasses, which looks quite good. Engine start stop, I don't know if you can just about see it. At the moment the ignition is on but the engine's not running. The red light pulses on and off, which I think is quite like, it wants you to start the car. P, so when you pull up, just press P, it puts it into park, put the handbrake on. Down here is your drive selector, so you push it forward, you're in reverse, push it towards you, you're in drive, and then one click up or down is neutral. Down here you've got your parking brake and you've got your automatic hold, so you can manually turn on and off the handbrake. Auto hold, so if you're on a hill it will automatically apply the handbrake, and when you drive off it will release the handbrake. Down here you've got your cup holders and a little sort of bit in there. You put your cup in that bit there, you then press this button and then that will lock your drink into place, which I quite like. And then here, let's just zoom out a bit, there we go, you've got some storage in there, you know, it's not too bad in there. And then you've got your armrest, which is adjustable forwards and back. You can have it different heights as well. Let's just put that back down. Let's go around here. That's it. It's a nice interior, very nice interior actually. I do like it a lot. Glove box, standard size glove box in there. Those are your vents for your air conditioning. Simple window controls down there. Nice sort of plain black carpets with the red stitching. The seats, you got your Alcantara and your GTI badging on the seat. Obviously Alcantara, you know, you had that on the Mark 1 Golf, and it's something that's been sort of like a trademark tradition, let's say, going forward on different various of Golf. Moving around here, you've got your lighting controls. At the moment it's in automatic mode, but then you can manually turn on your lights. You've got your fog lights on there as well. You've also got your heated windscreen, your heated rear window, let's say, option on there as well. Here you can lock and unlock the car from inside. Then down here you've got your window controls, your heated windscreen mirror, your heated side mirrors, sorry. And then you've got all your window controls on there. Decent sized door bins, very decent size actually, bigger than what I've got on my Fiesta. Up here, got a few little things. So you've got your lights there, which you can just sort of stroke on and off. SOS button, so if you have a crash or something, press that. If your phone's connected, it will automatically talk to the emergency services. All lights, don't know what that is. Information and service calls. If you break down, you press the little spanner, it will automatically call breakdown. At the top you've got the sunroof option, so to open the sunroof you just stroke your finger on there and that will open. Then stroke it forwards, it will close. It's quite sunny today, so I'm going to have that shut. That's that. And then in the back, business as usual for Golf. Seats pretty comfortable in there. Little pop down, I can get to it. Cup holders in there. And then down here, if I can, that is your rear passenger climate settings on there. Well, that's everything, guys. So thank you very much for joining me in the video today. Again, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. I am taking a sort of month break while I'm away, so if there's any inactivity in my account, that is why. But again, I should be back very shortly with some more cars. Thank you very much, guys. Cheerio.